Hello, my friends. Today is June the 26th, and this is a psychic reading for you if this is your birth date. I do psychic readings. I do healing work for 38 years now. Check out my credits. I do internet psychic readings. I do a lot of work out of my home and office in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I do a 4-card pull today, might be 7 to 10 minutes long. It's a general energy or lens card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. This is the general energy or the general lens card of the year. It is the sustainer. Sustainer talks about, there's three elements of creation, sustaining, and then destruction, the three elements of beingness. The sustainer is the one who often works behind the scenes, very wanting to keep the peace, very wanting to keep the momentum, very wanting to make sure everything is tidy, everything is full, everything that's needed is done, make the meals, clean the bed, clean the barn, do the work. Often not really wanting to be the center or the front of attraction, often also not wanting to change things, wanting to just get along, go along, be the sustainer, be the doer. Sometimes it leads to resentment and anger. Most of the time, the sustainer is very happy being someone who sustains in the background and doesn't need to be in the forefront and doesn't need to push their will, because their will is often more, your will is often more about keeping the peace, keeping things moving, keeping things functional, and being a part of the cycle of sustenance. So what is your particular challenge? Seven of Wands. Well, Seven of Wands is all about stepping up, I think. It's about stepping up and giving your voice and giving your passion and giving your truth and giving your inspiration and holding your own power and holding your own beliefs, even when others don't believe in you. And it's, it could be a time of confrontation, a time of contraction, a time of fighting, a time of, verbally fighting. It might, even more than that. So that's, it kind of goes counter to what the sustainer in you is talking about, the one who wants to stay behind the scenes, the one who wants to keep the peace, the one who wants to just keep things going. But for some reason, things aren't going in the way that you wish them to. You don't like the pace, or you don't like the form, or you don't like the purpose, or you don't like what is being, said to you or given to you as your result. And some part of you says, I need to step up, but another part of you is afraid to step up, and I think it's mostly the fear of stepping up and being confrontational. The sustainer doesn't necessarily want in their lives. They want to be about peace. You want to be about peace. You want to be about having things move along smoothly. But things aren't smooth, and so what are you going to do? Just, give in and buckle in and go against your deeper feelings and your deeper thoughts and your deeper understandings, and enable the others to go along with what is being played in front of them? Or are you going to stand up and fight and give your voice to something that is needed, I think, for your voice to be part of? Here's the action to take moose. Self-esteem. This is all about your sense of believing in yourself and believing that you have a right to bellow your truth like the moose, the big old moose. They're around. You hear them from miles away. Their voice. When you come into the presence of them, they're huge and they're dangerous on some level, but they're huge and they have a big voice and a big energy, and it talks about believe in yourself, bellow your truth, stand up for your grounds. You are strong enough, you are big enough, you can take care of yourself if you need to, and you can call your other moose friends to join you and help you. And I think that's, the Seven of Wands says, you might be doing this alone, but oftentimes you're doing it with other people. Maybe you don't even know them yet, but you have to have your voice in it. You have to give your voice to something. You have to stand up and maybe break the the sustenance peacekeeper, but look to the wise person you that wants to ultimately go toward peace and go toward justice and go toward balance and go toward sustenance again. But what you have in front of you is no longer there in that regard for you, and so you feel called to step up and do something. But there's a lot of pain involved with that. And here's the synopsis card, or the understanding card at the end. This comes, I think, from old times of being a kid. This comes from old times of being put down. This comes from old times of being, negated and pushed to the background. Maybe you're the sustainer because it was very volatile growing up and you couldn't show yourself to be outside of the realm. Maybe the safest thing to do was to iron the underwear and feed the pigs and just go about the business and just try to keep peace among people, because to not have peace means a lot of things get twirled around, and you don't like that twirl. You don't want that twirl, because it points to you, and it points to something inside of you that says, well, I don't know how to fight against that. I don't know if I have the power or the presence or the mind or the being to go up and fight for something that I really believe in. So who told you that? Who told you that? Who gave you that as your truth? And why did you buy into that truth? And so that's your questions to ask yourself. Why did you buy into some belief that says you don't have the power, you don't have the energy, you don't have the means, you don't have the support, when it's not true? There's plenty of support here for you to step up in your power. There's plenty of support here for you to step up in your voice, in your truth, in your presence, and make a change in the world. Sustainer sometimes needs to make a change. And even though if you're reluctant, like sustainers are normally are, to change the status quo, you know what evils you have in front of you, and it's easier to get along with the evils that you have in front of you than to open, a can of worms and go into a whole new set of evils that you're not prepared for and not aligned with, but you don't align with what is happening in front of you right now. So find your voice, look at why your voice isn't there, look into your past to see who negated your voice and why are you giving them the power. And maybe this is a good time to work out some early childhood stuff about people who negated you, or people didn't listen to you, or people who put you down, or people who said you don't know anything, or you don't have anything to say. Just go do your work. Go do your work. That's a very painful childhood place in many of us. So this might be that work that you need to do this year, about finding your voice and finding your power and stepping up and letting things change in a better way. I mean, you're ultimately looking at wanting fairness and equality and inspiration and justice in your world, and you're not getting it in the present mode. So either tamp yourself down or raise yourself up to be the Spitfire on some level, the Spitfire that you need to be, and trust that you're going to be taken care of, and trust that other people are going to support you, and trust that then you will sustain a better functioning society. Oh,